A bus driver is claiming that he was attacked following the Trump rally at Coachella. The event that was hosted on Saturday at Calhoun Ranch had an estimated 15,000 attendees, which had to be bused there. Okay, it's about a 2-hour walk from where people were parked in the desert. So now, when that event was over, turns out that a lot of the buses that were used to take the people there didn't show back up to take people back to their cars. Oh, so now, that said, there were some buses that did end up taking people back, but things got real bad. There just weren't enough buses. So now, the buses that were there, the drivers ended up facing very angry crowds. One driver who wanted to remain anonymous told KTLA 5 News that he and other drivers were physically assaulted and had decided to stop shuttling passengers. Wow. One says, quote, "At the beginning, everybody was really conforming to what they needed to do. But towards the end, when everything changed, they started pushing, started shoving, they started, throwing stuff. I think the overwhelming crowd of people even inundated the law enforcement. People were tired and hot. They probably didn't have a lot to eat. A lot of factors created this frustrating mess for attendees." So, I mean, think about that. Okay, I get it that people are mad, right? I get it that people were freaking out. They were frustrated because, oh my God, where's all the buses? The appropriate thing to do in that situation is not to then take your anger out on the people, on the remaining buses that are there. Okay, it's a bad thing to do. Kind of the dumb thing to do. Don't do that. Don't take your frustrations out on the only ride back out. Okay, or back to your car. Seems like counterintuitive. Okay, counterproductive perhaps. Now, the driver explained that we were on the back end of the transportation, which started around 5 o'clock. We were told no more people were coming back to the venue from the parking lots past 2 o'clock. But they didn't hold to that, so the crowds were starting to get bigger and bigger. We couldn't get in to let people out because the traffic was so stretched out. One of the problems was the transportation was going the same way the cars were going, so it slowed everybody down. Now, when the bus driver was actually able to pull into the venue, that's when he says the people became a little unruly. Oh, are you telling me that MAGA people got unruly? What are we dealing with? Antifa? I've never seen Trump people ever get angry and unruly and turn into a mob, unless you count January 6th. That says, here's what the driver then said, quote, "I heard a lady fall down, and I went back to go check on her in the back of the bus. I walked towards the back of the bus, and I got to the middle of the bus, and I had a slam or a slap against my left side of my face. I was nearly knocked down, and I came to my senses and realized my face was swelling up, my eye I couldn't see, and then my nose started bleeding heavily. I turned around, and whoever hit me was already gone." Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. That's when he went back up to the front of the bus, got a tissue for his bloody nose, and then went and continued his job, dropped people off. And then, when after he did that, he was taken to the Eisenhower emergency room for treatment. He said, "I ended up getting a CAT scan, and they checked my eye for cornea scratch, for dislocation, and they checked for a concussion. I was there an extensive amount of time." Wow. It sounds like a pretty awful situation. And the guy is former military, so he's like, whatever, I still did what I had to do, and I still kept my cool during that situation, and I went and got checked out like I'm supposed to, and I'm okay. And then he said, "Look, I guess I'm glad it was a hand and not a bat or a knife." Wow. Now, what happened to cause this situation, right? So the driver believes that this was just all an effect of bad planning. He said they underestimated the quantity of people. All day, more people started coming in, so it added to the confusion, added to the frustration. And then when the rally was over, it was a perfect storm. You can't plan big events like this in just a few days. So, look, for me, the idea that they would keep letting people in, even though they didn't have a plan to deal with them, probably had something to do with Trump. Because you know how Trump likes big crowds, okay? You know, oh, keep letting him in, keep letting him in. Oh, sir, we don't really have any way of, getting them back out again. Oh, I don't care. You figure it out. You go do something. I just want more and more people. I want a bigger crowd, and I don't want them to leave. Okay. So I don't know if it's bad planning as much as, Donald Trump and his ego taking over and telling people, no, just keep letting more in. We're fine. Now, that said, this driver had some empathy, right? He said, I know that they were feeling just so frustrated, and I empathize with that. We all felt that way. But we need to understand that you need to just treat people who are service employees like human beings, instead of just targets. You can't just take your anger out on the first person you see. I just don't want to hear about anybody else getting hurt simply doing their job. I agree with this guy 100%. And again, seems like a decent person. All right. But here's the thing. These are Trump voters. A lot of them are the same kinds of people who would attack service workers for wearing masks during the pandemic. Remember that? I remember hearing a lot of stories, reading a lot of stories of people working at Walmart or Target or Applebee's being assaulted because, oh, you're wearing a mask. Oh, how dare you wear a mask during a pandemic? What am I supposed to do? Get sick on your account? No. And so, again, I get where he's going, okay? And I agree that you do need to treat people with empathy and compassion, even when they're Trump supporters, okay? I just wish that they would return the favor. Would be nice. And again, considering how these are the few buses that actually showed up, as opposed to the rest of them, which no idea why the rest of them didn't show up. And that's the question. Now, again, some of them didn't show up. That's until after people got unruly. And I get that, right? What about the rest? There's supposed to be more and more buses, right? A lot of them. Now, there's a rumor going around that he didn't pay them, which wouldn't surprise me. But I have yet to see a reputable report on that. But I am saying that as of right now, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case, given how Donald Trump has a long and storied history of not paying people. But again, until I see a reputable source on that, I can't say that's for certain. But I can say that assaulting the drivers who actually showed up and did their job to take you home, not exactly the best way to approach this kind of situation. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.